I'm reading out loud, recording videos for who knows what. It's crazy. Um, Return of the Messiah, the Book of Jesus, Chapter 7, Decision to Flee. Word got out that John was looking for the official, and John wasn't shy about why he was looking. People didn't believe him and called Dechana a liar and many other names. This hurt John not because he believed them, but because he he couldn't believe that even though he had done so much for the community, that they would treat him in that way. Like that's something. When the soldiers showed up at the house and threatened him and Dechana, Dechana no longer felt safe. John felt in his heart that it would be best to leave. So that's what they did. They packed some of their belongings and in late hours of the night, they left. They had no idea where they were going, but before they left Galilee, John looked at Dechana and said, "Do you trust me?" Dechana replied, "With all my heart." John stood there for a moment and looked at the stars as though he was looking for a sign or guidance. John and Dechana, who was with child, began the journey into the unknown. They traveled for 7 nights. And along the way, they met many kind and incredible people who shared unfamiliar generosity. It was as though the journey was a part of a divine plan. They came to a city north of Cairo near the water. The journey led them to a beautiful city north of Cairo near the water. Upon entering the city, they ran into a man, and John had helped him with an issue that he was having. The man asked them where they were headed. John replied, "I guess here." The man said, "That's great. I'm a blacksmith and could really use some help if you're interested." The blacksmith had extra space on his land and provided John and Dechana with shelter in exchange for John's helping hand. While John was working with the blacksmith, he met two other men who didn't know each other before, one a baker and another a wanderer. All four of them became close friends. One day while they were all together, John asked the baker what brought him to this place, and the baker said, "This may seem strange, but I had a dream that led me here." The black the blacksmith said, "Why would I say the blacksmith said? I'm not a writer. I was just telling a story." "Not strange at all. It was a dream that has led me. It was a dream that has kept us here." Wait a second. One day, while they were all together, John asked the baker what brought him to this place, and the baker said, "This may seem strange, but I had a dream that led me here." Oh, and then John replied, "Not strange at all. It was a dream that has kept me here." They both looked at one another. What is going on? They both looked at the wanderer, and the wanderer said, "I didn't have a dream. It was something else. One night while looking at the stars, I heard a voice that told me to come here and said a baby of light was to be born, and I am to help when the moment comes." Both the baker and the blacksmith shared that both of their dreams were also about a voice from the stars, referring to a baby of light that was to be born. After a long moment of silence, John gently says, "The night we came here, 3 months ago, I looked to the stars for guidance, and it was the stars that led us here." The wanderer says, "Was it any particular star?" "The brightest one in the sky," John replied. John was convinced that none of this was by coincidence. So he took the blacksmith, the baker, and the wanderer to see Dechana and share their findings. Dechana was amazed by what she was learning. While she was listening, she was also taken back to a dream she had had while on the journey from home. It was about a kind old lady who told her that her baby was special and everything was going to be okay. Dekana took a moment to look at everyone as they Dekana was amazed by what she was hearing. While she was listening, she was taken back to a dream she had while on the journey from home. It was about a kind old lady who told her that her baby was special and everything was going to be okay. Dekana took a moment to look at everyone as they connected. Dekana said, "Well, what's next?" John replied, "I guess we will know when we know." Now that is interesting. 3 nights later, John woke abruptly from his sleep. No dream, no vision, no voice, just a knowing. He woke Dekana, who was now 8 months pregnant, and told her it was time. She did not question nor hesitate. John began packing their belongings and then informed Dekana that he was going to go get the others. As he opened the door to leave, there stood the blacksmith with transportation and protection, the baker with food, and the wanderer with an adventurous spirit. The wanderer stepped forward and said, "Is it okay if I lead the way?" John answered, "How will you know which way to go?" "The same way we all ended up here." And he points to the stars. Everyone smiled and agreed, and they began yet another journey. They traveled for 7 days, only traveling at night. On the seventh night, shortly after beginning the journey, Dekana started to feel immense pain. She was going into labor. While no one was equipped with the understanding of how to deliver a baby, everyone agreed it was best to keep going, armed with the knowing of their hearts. They continued. Dekana's pain grew with every step forward. Her cries echoed through the air. The wanderer who was leading the way seen what seemed to be torches in the distance. As he got closer, he heard the voice of a woman. "Come, come, hurry," she called out. Why is my phone glitching? They arrived at a village near a pyramid of Giza. When Dekana saw the woman who called to them, she instantly felt at peace. This is because the woman she laid eyes on is the same woman who came to her in a vision to comfort her. She was a short, elderly lady with beautiful blue eyes and shimmering bronze skin, just like Dekana. The woman placed her hand on Dekana's cheek and said to her, "Welcome home." Chapter 8, The Birth of Jesus. This is going to be juicy.